bioscience consulting is important for a project like U-BIOPRED because, it's very complex. There's a lot of things that are going on, and you have multiple different organizations that are trying to work together. That immediately creates a communication challenge. But on top of that, you also have to keep the whole project moving forward. You have to make sure that people are making decisions and making plans, and just even organizing meetings. It seems simple, but in the end, it's very difficult. And it comes down to, we could have a project where we operated as a bunch of silos that came together and maybe talked every 3 months or something. But for U-BIOPRED, we've aimed to create really a virtual organization to be highly integrated. And I think now, after year 4, we're seeing that really pays off because the amount that we're able to produce, because it's not, we've got pharma partners, we've got academic partners. No, they're all working together. They're all working together to creatively solve problems, and then that creates progress. Well, in the different partners that are involved, there's some that you would expect and some that perhaps aren't usual. What I mean by that, for example, of course, there's researchers, but there's also within the academic centers, there may be, lawyers and grants and contracts people. There may be administrators, and there's certainly technicians, students, and postdocs. And then you also have on, the pharmaceutical side, you'll have researchers again, that's the bulk of it. But then you also have perhaps business people, you have more business-oriented people is what I mean, and you have, again, legal, administrative. But the real not surprising, but perhaps unique part of U-BIOPRED is that we've tried to involve all the stakeholders. And probably the most important, obviously, if you're doing translational research, is the patient. So we actually involve patients to the level where they are actually part of the teams discussing the science, and I think that's quite unique. Well, it's important for academia and industry to work together because, for a couple reasons. First of all, it's a different perspective. Academia is really focused on, let's make the new discoveries, be the first to find something, and so it tends to be really fast-moving, and which is really valuable. The industry perspective is more, how do we know that what we found is true? Because they have to make sure everything is in order so that they can achieve approval for a new therapy. And you combine those two, you can kind of get the best of both worlds. And for these kind of projects, because, A, we have to find new stuff, but at the same time, we have to have it such that we're ready to take it into a new therapy and consider all these things. But also there's a certain amount of detail and rigor that goes into this. And so compared to a lot of other projects, what U-BIOPRED has done is, the data that's collected is done on a very high quality level. And everything is really well checked. And so that enables to get the most out of the data, which when it comes down to it, is really what you want. Which speaks to the second point, which is by working together, if it's structured well, there's an efficiency that's gained. Because working on your own, yeah, you can do stuff, but you don't have the breadth of expertise. And biomedical research these days has become very complex, so you need lots of expertise. And by industry and academia working together, and also by industry working together, we really create an efficiency that has the maximum end effect, which is progress in biomedical research. Well, what I would say that researchers and scientists are interested in EU or multi-center projects is, first of all, it's intimidating, right? But it's worth the effort, and that you really need to you need to put a lot of effort into structuring and organizing the whole process. But the end result, as you'll see in U-BIOPRED, is really worthwhile. Now, anytime you work in a group like this, you're going to have something come out of it. But the question you have to ask yourself: are we going to reach that potential, the maximum potential? And these projects almost invariably are ambitious. So it's important that we work in this way. Because otherwise, we're only sort of clipping off the tops of trees, while, we really need to create progress with these ambitious projects. So yes, it's a lot of work, but it's worth it.